Good evening. Welcome to a very snowy Columbus, Ohio, Bexley, Ohio to be exact, as we're here on the campus of Capital University, where today the Crusaders play host to the Heidelberg University Student Princes. Capital comes into this one 11-10 overall, 6-8 in OAC play this season, whereas Heidelberg is at 8-13, 4-10 in OAC play. Again, I'm Jimmy Bloomfield. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and welcome in to the Freshies pregame show. Freshies, healthy, fast, casual food that's good for the body and soul. Capital students, a reminder, you get 10% off at Freshies. Eat, energize. Well, Capital entered last week at 6-6 in conference play, and winners of 2 in a row here in this building, defeating Muskingum and Otterbein to end the month of January and start the month of February. Played 2 of their best games that we had seen from them all season. That Otterbein game, a 91-64 blowout against Muskingum, and then the Otterbein game, a dominant 16-point win in that one, 74-58. Looked like all was well. And then Marietta in an ugly game that featured 22 turnovers from Capital and 26, I believe it was, for the Pioneers, turned into a last-minute situation where, again, Capital came up one possession short, throwing the ball away on their last possession after a chance to tie it or potentially win the game. And unfortunately, they did not play well this weekend either against John Carroll, a 79-52 loss against John Carroll. And also sustaining an injury in that game was Ellie Watchman, who is questionable to go tonight. We'll see if she is going to play or not. I'm looking at the warm-up lines, and she is out there, so we'll see if she plays or plays her normal minutes. Brooke Amert is currently in the projected starting lineup, but that could, of course, change if Ellie is ready to go tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that situation through warm-ups here at the Capital Center. But after entering on a high week last week at 6-6 and ready to make some noise for that number 4 seed, now they enter this week at 6-8, 2 last home games before trips on the road. They play Heidelberg, Baldwin, Wallace, Wilmington, and Mount Union in their next 4. One of those teams, Baldwin Wallace, is trying to win the conference. The other 3 are trying to make the playoffs and are the teams that Capital is either tied with or within 1 or 2 games of the Crusaders. And it's Heidelberg tonight. This is basically a playoff game for the Student Princes. If they lose, they will fall 3 games behind Capital and be down a tiebreaker, so they mathematically could not catch the Crusaders. They'd have a lot of trouble catching these other 6 and 8 teams, and would be 1 game back of Wilmington at best if the Quakers were to lose tonight also. If they win, all of a sudden they're just a game back of Capital. They could pull even with Wilmington and can make a run to make the tournament. So they are going to be playing desperate basketball here in this one, and Capital's going to have to be ready for their best punch, because this could be their season here tonight at the Capital Center. And Crusaders just want to get on that winning side once again. We've got a lot to get to in our pregame show. We will break down the OAC update in full details here coming up. We also sat down with Coach Jeffers as Ryan Gesser, our Sports Information Director here at Capital, was kind enough to fill in for me due to some traffic issues in the area. If you are making your way to the game, please be safe out there. The road's not in very good condition here in Bexley. And we also will set the table for today's matchup between Capital and Heidelberg. There's some big players on this other side. 3 of the top 6 scorers in the OAC are in the building tonight, and they're all in black uniforms from Heidelberg. So there's some firepower on this other side. We'll get to that breakdown as well. First, our first break, and then OAC talk coming up right now on the right after this on the Freshies pregame show.
Lunch, the most unappreciated meal of the day. Which is why we at Freshie are screaming from the rooftops, let there be lunch. And no, not a sad sandwich at your desk. We're talking a flavorful Tex-Mex burrito after a brisk walk, or a nutritious kale Caesar with your work bestie. So let's do our minds, bodies, and taste buds a favor, and let there be lunch. Download the game-changing new Freshie app to have your food ready, or order at Freshie.com.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Welcome back to the Freshies pregame show. Now it's time for the OAC update brought to you by Army ROTC. Well, the Crusaders, as I mentioned, find themselves at 6-8 and have some work here to do the last 4 games of the season. The top 4 currently sits as Baldwin Wallace and John Carroll, both at 13-1. One of those teams will win the conference. They still have one matchup against each other. Ohio Northern at 9-5 seems to be solidified as the number 3 team right now. Marietta currently the 4th spot at 7-7 by the strength of a big win here at the Capitol Center back on the 5th. And then you've got a crowded mess here in the middle. Mount Union, Capital, and Otterbein all 6-8. Capital split with Otterbein, and they still have one game left with Mount Union. They did lose the first matchup, so they'll have to win a tough one at Alliance. And that is the last game of the season, by the way. One game back of those teams of 3, or that group of 3, is Wilmington at 5-9. And they're holding on to the last playoff spot right now by one game over the Student Princes in the building here tonight. Muskingum at 1-13 has been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. They will be trying to play spoiler as the season ends out here and try to pick up another win or two on their season. Just 1-13 in conference play, 3-16 overall. Tonight is a busy night, as always, in the OAC across the state of Ohio. And we've got some pretty good matchups tonight. First, the headliner of the night would have to be the game between John Carroll and Baldwin Wallace. It's at Baldwin Wallace, and it could determine the winner of the OAC. So that's the definitely the marquee game tonight. Otterbein travels to Ohio Northern. That's a big one for the Cardinals. They need to find a way to win that ball game if they want to compete for that top 4 spot and hang into their playoff spot. Marietta and Mount Union, another big one, a 7-7 versus 6-8 team there. It is at Marietta, and they're trying to keep their hold on that number 4 spot, a first-round playoff game at home. The last matchup would then be Muskingum playing host to Wilmington and the Quakers. Boy, did they need that one, too. The Quakers currently at 5-9, holding on to that last playoff spot. And this would be a great spot for Muskingum to play spoiler on the road. With Wilmington on the road, traveling into their house. The one win for Muskingum, oddly enough, was against Ohio Northern, 58-55, all the way back on January 11th, as they pulled a big upset. That was a crazy night with upsets all over the place in the OAC. And that was probably the biggest one of them all. Mount Union defeated Capital that day on Saturday as well. So that's kind of where we stand right now. Capital with a win here kind of puts Heidelberg in the rearview mirror, and they will qualify for the tournament almost certainly with a win here today. But if they lose this game, boy, they are right in the thick of it and could potentially be missing out on the playoffs after what looked like a promising 6-6 start to conference play and a chance to compete with some of these teams at the top. And really at a crossroads. And it's all about how Capital responds back on their home floor, and if they're able to come out with a strong effort again, or if they throw up another dud tonight, it could be the nail in a coffin. If they're going to have to probably win 2 of their last 3, and one of those would be against Baldwin Wallace if they don't get this win here today. And so sense of urgency is at an all-time high for Capital as of the 2020 season, that is. Taking a look now at the last week in Capital sports. For the women's team, that is. The Capital Countdown brought to you by On the Border Mexican Grill and Cantina. I mentioned the really tough loss against Marietta. And Marietta had 26 turnovers in that game. Capital had 22. Both teams, oddly enough, shot over 40% from the field. Capital was just 10 of 20 at the free throw line in a game they lose by 1 point. Very rough going there offensively for both teams at the stripe and just taking care of the basketball. They did shoot well, both sides, but from three, the teams were a combined 4 for 22. It was a lot of layups and easy baskets or just sloppy turnovers. It was a very bizarre game. One of the weirder ones I remember calling here at Capital over the past almost 6 years now. For Capital and John Carroll then on the 8th, boy, this was just not a good game for Capital. Second quarter, they were outscored 25-11, found themselves down by 15 at half, and never really got back in it. They lose 79-52. Overall in the game, 27-13 for Olivia Nagy with 4 blocks. And Nicole Heffington with a 16, 9, and 5 effort, 10 points from Abby Adler as well. They got 9 off the bench from Kaylin Underwood. And it was the Olivia Nagy show, and that was all they really needed. For Capital, one player hits double figures, and it's Bosch, who went 5 for 14 from the field. Caroline Taphorn, 1 point in 16 minutes, shot 0 for 7. Brooke Amert had 8 points in a strong start, a game in which Ellie did not play on Saturday. Emma Burns shot just 4 of 8, 9 points for her. Reagan Stonerock had 4 points and 4 rebounds. Nothing off the bench. Erica Linder gets 4 points. Kaylee Cyphers had 2 points and 3 rebounds on 1 of 6 shooting. There's just nothing really generating for Capital. They went 2 of 13 from 3 and 21 of 61 from the field. That's 36, even worse actually, 34%. And another poor showing at the free throw line, 8 for 19, 42%. And that is back-to-back games with at least the same amount of makes as misses from the free throw line, which will make you pull your hair out as a head coach of any team at any level. So it wasn't a good week. We turn the page and hopefully start a good week here once again at the Capitol Center. When we come back, we will have the interview with Coach Dixie Jeffers and Sports Information Director Ryan Gasser. That's coming up right after this.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
They said I couldn't, so I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me, so I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
Women's basketball team, Dixie Jeffers. Coach Jeffers, this seems to be a little bit of a tough patch for you, and we got to turn it around right here at the most pivotal point of the season, coming off 2 losses. What are you planning on changing, or is it just you got to push through tough times?
You know, it's a roller coaster. And right now, the roller coaster's stuck. I don't know if it's at the bottom or at the top, but it's stuck. And everybody at this time of the year is fighting injuries, and everybody is fighting the aches and the pains. And you have to push through. I mean, and your freshmen have never played this long of a season because they're in tournament time. And the upperclassmen are the ones that their bodies hurt the worst because they've been through the battles the longest. And it's a mental aspect. It's about having a heart and a passion for the game and being able to push through a lot of different things.
You mentioned those injuries, and it seems like, you know, we are no stranger to that, but a good bright spot that has come out of those is the play of Brooke Omer. So talk about Brooke and, you know, coming off the bench and then getting thrust into the starting role, just how she's handled that this year, because it's not the first time.
Brooke is a competitor, understands the game incredibly well, is a very smart player, probably the most efficient screener that we have on the team. So that's why we like Brooke in towards the end of the game, because we know she's going to set good screens. And she's just a great kid. She's only a sophomore. She's battled some injuries too, but we're glad that she's playing for us and not somebody else.
Talk about another Crusader that is going to make a pivotal impact on tonight's game and that you're really hoping steps it up in the back half of this season.
It's Ellie Watchman. Ellie Watchman is a key to our success. She's one of the best post players in the conference. She gives us a true post player inside, and the ability to rebound and her energy and get people to go. And I think Cassie Bosch is the other senior that I would talk about. The kid comes to practice every day and comes to every game and plays so hard. And if I had the entire team that plays as hard as those two kids I just mentioned, we wouldn't be stuck on a roller coaster right now.
Head coach Dixie Jeffers joining us on the Freshie pregame show. And coach, let's focus on tonight's opponent, that being Heidelberg, who comes in under 500, but certainly no slouch. They're a team that can be scrappy and can certainly pull out a victory when you least expect it. How do we prevent them from pulling out a victory tonight?
Well, the key to them is not to let them get going early. And they go around. They have a lot of good players. They go around 3 kids. They go around 22 Beamer, they go around 33 Almer, and they go around 30 Crawford. And those 2 kids play hard. And they all bring a different aspect. One's a 3-point shooter, one's a post player, and then one's a kid that's a driver pull-up shooter. So those are 3 things that are difficult to go against. We did a good job against them 2 weeks ago, but tonight's another night.
What do you think is one thing that truly makes the team as a whole dangerous instead of one individual?
I think you never know how much energy they're going to bring. And they're a team that you really don't know, hey, am I showing up tonight to come after you and you're getting my A game, or are we bringing my C game? So it makes them really dangerous, because I do know these 3 kids, the 3 that I just talked about, is going to show up. If they get another 1 or 2 that shows up with them, it could be a long night.
This is a pivotal point of the season, which we mentioned already. 2 home games left, and both of them coming up, one tonight, one on Saturday. How do you convey a message to the team that it's imperative that you finish strong, especially with 2 final home games?
You know, at this point in time in the year, and I'm not too sure with coaching as long as I've done it, that you can do all you want to do in practice, and you can teach everything you want to teach. But when that ball goes up, how much control other than we manage the game do we have? Probably very little. So this really onus is on these kids. What do you want to do? It's 5 seniors. How do you want to end your season? Junior class, sophomore class, freshman class. Do you want to continue to get better? Well, how do you want to end your season, or do you just want it to be over? And that's for everybody that's playing right now. Other than Baldwin Wallace and John Carroll, who are playing for a championship, which we pretty much know those kids are going to show up.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck heading into tonight's matchup and into the rest of the weekend as we prepare for the backstretch of OAC play. So good luck tonight, and hopefully we'll be pulling out a W.
I hope so, too. Thank you.
This has been head coach Dixie Jeffers, sending it back over to Jimmy as we roll along in the Freshies pregame show.
And thank you, Ryan, for, again, sitting down with Coach Jeffers earlier today. And thank you to Coach Jeffers for joining us, as always, as part of the Coach's Corner. Well, let's get to today's matchup, and Dixie kind of broke it down for us. I mentioned 3 players that are in the top 6 in scoring in the OAC, and she mentioned them by name there. Let's start by talking about the shooter that she mentioned. That would be number 22, Brooke Beamer. 14.2 points per game for Brooke, and she likes to, like she said, go with that pull-up kind of shot. She is second on the team with 3-point attempts at 69 attempts, but she's only made 18. She's at 26%, but can be very lethal off the dribble. She has a season and a career high of 30 points in a game earlier this season. Next would be Brittany Ulmer. She's the outside threat, only shooting 32% from 3 this season, but she has shot 171 of them, and she's made 55 at 32%, like I just said. And she's the one that's going to kind of stretch everything out. She has a game and career high of 34 this season as well. And then the last one would be the senior Maddie Crawford, who we've seen over the years here turn into the most complete player on this Heidelberg team and one of the best players in this conference, bar pretty much nobody. She's number 1 in rebounds, which is even higher than Olivia Nagy. She's number 2 in blocks, trailing only Olivia Nagy. She's tied for 6th in points. Beamer, by the way, is also number 2 in steals and number 2 in assists, behind Caroline Taphorn, who would be number 1 in assists right now. But that three-headed monster of Beamer, Crawford, and Ulmer, this Heidelberg team kind of goes as long as they take them. And like Coach said, you know those 3 are going to show up, so some of these peripheral players have to really show up. That 4th in line is kind of Allie Adelsberger. She's at 9.5 points per game, which would rank 3rd on Capital's team. She's actually tied with Ellie Watchman for 24th in the conference in scoring. And behind her, the next leading scorer is at 3.9 points, and that's Bailey Walter. Leah Bouillon, the other starter, is 6th on the team with 2.6 points per game. So there's a huge drop-off from that top 3 down to Adelsberger. And then once you get below Adelsberger, there's nothing there. And you're going to need one of those players to kind of have a ceiling day, or maybe 2 even, to come out today and win. But like Coach said, this is a dangerous team. It really is. They have a lot of firepower offensively with those 3 guys. And if you put a lot of emphasis on the big 3, that's when Adelsberger and others could hurt you. So it'll be really interesting to see how Capital manages that situation. We'll take a timeout, our final timeout here on the Freshies pregame show. When we come back, we will talk about the keys to the game and get you set for tip-off here at the Capitol Center.
$14 TVs to watch your favorite team for the next big event. Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Plank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Plank's is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Plank's Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
Lunch, the most unappreciated meal of the day. Which is why we at Freshie are screaming from the rooftops, let there be lunch. And no, not a sad sandwich at your desk. We're talking a flavorful Tex-Mex burrito after a brisk walk, or a nutritious kale Caesar with your work bestie. So let's do our minds, bodies, and taste buds a favor and let there be lunch. Download the game-changing new Freshie app to have your food ready, or order at freshie.com.
Welcome back to the Freshies pregame show. Time to get to today's keys to the game, brought to you by Marriott Columbus Airports. Well, we kind of have the keys set for us in terms of what to look at for this Heidelberg team. It's slowing down the big 3, but I'm going to look more at Capital today, and I think to use some coach speak here, and I really truly believe it tonight, this is all about Capital in this game. They have shown that they can hang with any single team in this conference. That includes John Carroll and Baldwin Wallace. And it really is just kind of what game they come out and play today. I think when their ball pressure is at a very high rate, that's where we saw a lot of success with Muskingum and Otterbein, was Caroline Taphorn hounding the point guard, bringing it across the timeline, and just really never getting into a comfortable set offensively on the other side. and using those turnovers and turning them into points. The issue was when they got all those turnovers against Marietta, they didn't do anything. They gave it right back, turning it over. And off of 28 turnovers, or 26 turnovers, they only got, I believe it was 18 points. I mean, that just can't happen. If you get 20 turnovers in the game, you got to turn that into at least 30 points. And they just weren't able to do that at all. And I think it's just going to start with Capital today in focusing on our game, playing really sound defense, and turning that into high efficiency on the offensive end of the floor. That's today's key. We'll see what happens with it early on. Coach said the first few minutes will be big in this one. I think that's fair to some extent. This is kind of a reset button coming home, and we'll see what Capital can do about it here in their own building tonight. We are about a minute away from our announcements and national anthem here at the arena. We'll come back with our starting lineups in just a few moments. This was the Freshies pregame show. We thank you as always for tuning in half an hour before tip, and we will be right back with basketball action here at the Capitol Center.
House is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
This is a message for the nurses among us, for those who dream of saving lives, for those who are driven to improve care, and for those ready to help heal what's broken, be it a single bone fracture or an entire hospital system. Capital University's advanced nursing programs are built for you. Engaged faculty, immersive learning, and intimate classes where you'll know everyone's name. To learn more, visit capital.edu/nursing. Advanced nursing at Capital University, for those driven to do more.
This is a message for all those MBA seekers out there. For the junior exec who'd rather be senior. For the VP yearning to be CEO. And for everyone who'd call their job not just a profession, but a passion. Capital University's MBA program was built exclusively for professionals, experienced faculty, flexible schedules, and classmates you'll soon consider colleagues. Learn more at capital.edu/MBA. The Capital University MBA, for those driven to do more.
Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Time for the starting lineups here. If you're just joining us, it's Heidelberg. It's Capital here from the Capitol Center, and we welcome you to Bexley, Ohio, for a big matchup between Heidelberg at 4-10, Capital at 6-8. The Student Princes trying to make the postseason. Capital just trying to stay in the hunt, and could still theoretically be the number 4 seed if they have a strong finish to the season, coming in losing 2 in a row after winning 2 in a row as the roller coaster, as Coach Jeffers called it in our pregame, continues on here at the Capitol Center. Let's start with the Heidelberg University Student Princes tonight. They will start number 12, a 5'5 junior guard out of Tiffin, Ohio, Ellie Adelsberger. Also in the backcourt is 5'8 senior guard out of Cary, Ohio, Leah Bouillon. Brooke Beamer, the 5'4 junior guard out of New Philadelphia, Ohio. 5'6 senior guard out of Lima, Brittany Ulmer. And the 5'9 senior forward out of Willard, Ohio, Maddie Crawford. It's Adelsberger, Bouillon, Beamer, Ulmer, and Crawford for 7th-year head coach Morgan Harrigan, assisted by Sean Gannell and Macy Shearer. For the Crusaders, it's the typical starting 5, which is great news for Capital because starting in the front court tonight is number 24, the senior 6 foot out of Upper Arlington, Ohio, Ellie Watchman. Joining her in the front court is 5'10" senior forward out of Westville, Ohio, Reagan Stonerock. And 5'9" senior forward out of Logan, Ohio, Cassidy Bosch. In the backcourt, 5'8" sophomore guard out of Westerville, Ohio, Emma Burns. And 5'9" junior guard out of Harrison, Ohio, Caroline Taphorn. That is Burns, Taphorn, Bosch, Stonerock, and Watchman, who's back after a one-game absence. And boy, did Capital miss her against John Carroll, a game in which the Crusaders lost 79-52 over in University Heights. Hitting the reset button here tonight and trying to get back on the winning side of things here at the Capitol Center. Tonight's tip is brought to you by Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. Heidelberg will be in the black uniforms, moving from left to right. And Capital will be in the home silver uniforms, moving from right to left. That's some 90s Bulls music for the tip-off tonight. And we are underway. Capital wins the opening tip, which I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they haven't won very many here at home this season. Watchman gets the tip this time, and Capital has a chance to grab a quick lead. Burns over to Taphorn in the corner. Caroline gets a screen from Ellie. Looks inside and has a wide open Reagan Stonerock, but the layup no good, and Bouillon grabs the miss. Crawford getting it out to Beamer, who quickly crosses the timeline and gets it off to Omer. I wonder how much of that was trying to prevent Taphorn from using that full court pressure by Beamer just kind of sprinting across the line. There's an illegal screen called away from the ball, and that's on number 14. That's Leah Bouillon. Looked like a 24 originally, but it's 14 on the call. So a turnover on the first possession tonight for the Student Princes. And Capital will go to work now, trying to take the lead once more. Stonerock inside, has Watchman. She's unable to score. Taps it out to herself nicely and gets the offensive rebound. Taphorn looking to attack now. Gets a screen inside on the screen and roll. Watchman's going to be, she is going to go to the free throw line as a foul is picked up, and that's the second one for Leah Bouillon. So she makes it 1 minute and 5 seconds and will have to come out of the game. Replacing her is number 25, Bailey Walter. She's a freshman and their number one scorer off the bench at 3.9 points per game. Watchman's first free throw. Going to be short. Heidelberg has a big three, three of the top 6 scorers in the conference between Maddie Crawford, Brittany Ulmer, and Brooke Beamer. And there's not a whole lot of depth behind them. Leah Bouillon, one of the starters, already goes to the bench. It'd be a much bigger deal if one of those other 3 that I mentioned would be in foul trouble early on. But Capital happy to get to the Heidelberg bench early. Here's a 3-ball from Ulmer, and she knocks it down. Brittany Ulmer has no problem shooting outside. She has taken 172 threes now this season. She's only made 56 of them, but she's going to keep shooting. Watchman inside, blocked from behind by Ulmer. Coach Harrigan happy with the effort she's seen from Heidelberg here as the Student Princes turned their season around a few weeks ago with a huge win at Wilmington to kind of put themselves back in the playoff picture. At that point, they were 2 games back of Wilmington. If Wilmington won that game, Heidelberg was done. And all of a sudden, they're right in the thick of things now, only 2 games back of 5th place, which is Capital. And another basket here puts them up 5-1. That was Crawford with her first basket, her first of many that she'll probably have here tonight. Capital answers with a basket of their own. Heidelberg needed overtime to beat Muskingum in their last game at home. However, Ulmer in that game finished with 20 points, and with her second 3 of that game, she ended up with 4. She had 163, which set a Heidelberg record for most three-pointers made. So obviously a capable outside shooter with Brittany Ulmer. In that game, Beamer had 14, Ulmer 20, and Crawford 25, just to kind of show you how much firepower they have offensively. Offensive putback from Crawford, no good. Jump ball, and that's going to be Heidelberg basketball. So yeah, to go back to that Heidelberg point, again, that win against Wilmington kind of changed their season. They then defeated Muskingum in a must-win game as that one gets a shooter's roll. They have Crawford, Mount Union, and then Ohio Northern and Marietta to finish the season. If they finish 3-1, they have a decent shot to get in, but they need to win this one. Bosch is fouled. She gets the basket to go. Capital with a win all but assures themselves of a playoff spot and would still be in that contention for the number 4 spot as well. Really want to stay at least in the top 5 as Bosch misses the free throw. That way you don't have to play either Baldwin Wallace, Ohio Northern, or John Carroll on the road in the first round. Foul here called against Capital. And they're going to call that one on Cassidy Bosch. Free throw woes already kind of rearing their head here in this one. Capital is 1 for 3 from the line. Their last 2 games at the line went 10 for 20 and 8 for 19. So they're 18 for 39 over the last 2 games at 46%. Free throw here on the other side for Ulmer is good. Ulmer has 4 points. And gets another to go as well. Ulmer with 5, Crawford with 4, Bosch with 4. That's the only scoring so far, besides Ellie Watchman's 1 point. She gets to 3 here with a layup on the assist from Taphorn. I mentioned in the pregame, Taphorn number 1 in assists in the entire conference at 4.1 per game. Brooke Beamer at 3.7 is currently second. Beamer here on a drive. Gets the foul against Stone Rock. Heidelberg doing a good job getting to the line early in this game. That's back-to-back possessions now. Beamer is at just 59% from the free throw line this season. She misses another there. Crawford and Ulmer each above 80, but for some reason Beamer, whose game is about that pull-up jump shot, not a good free throw shooter this season. (10-7), the Student Prince's leading. Stone Rock in the post, double teamed, swung around to Taphorn, now back inside to Stone Rock. She spins left and it's blocked. Excellent defense for Maddie Crawford, number 2 in the conference in blocks. Trailing only Olivia Nagy, who's number 1 in all of Division III in blocks. So she's a very good shot blocker. Ulmer with the fake. Now hands off. Adelsberger, who had 12 in her last game. Gives off to Beamer around a screen, and there's that mid-range game from Brooke Beamer. 12 points for Heidelberg, and they're all from Beamer, Crawford, and Ulmer. No surprises so far tonight in the first 5 and change. Bosch. Baseline drive and throws it up and in, and Cassidy Bosch has 6 of the 9 for Capital. Watchman with the other 3. Beamer giving off now. Ulmer drives in, steps back, a long 2, no good, and Stone Rock will get the miss. Emma Burns has it. We haven't said her name much here in the first 5 minutes. Taphorn getting a screen from Watchman inside. Easy layup on the pick and roll. That's way too easy. And a timeout call by Heidelberg. A strong start to both sides. It's 12-11 with 4:37 left to play. A quick 30-second timeout. We'll be right back.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
A very snowy Bexley, Ohio tonight, but it's nice and warm here at the Capitol Center. And a good start to today's game. 12-11, Heidelberg currently leading. But it's been very competitive on both sides, and some pretty good basketball so far. And there's a shot that was halfway down, cleaning it up and getting fouled is Bailey Walter, who came in for Leah Bouillon, who picked up 2 fouls in the first minute and 5 seconds of this game. We'll see a bunch of substitutes now. They're going to shoot 1 free throw first. Walter, again, a freshman, the leading scorer off the bench for this group. She's a 78% free throw shooter. The first one is no good. And apparently we're going to sub after both shots here. Free throw is good. And subbing now is number 34, Sadie Cheney. She's coming in for the shooter here. And Demi Brewer will check in first off the bench tonight for Capital, replacing Caroline Taphorn. Brewer, 5'6", freshman out of Dublin Jerome High School here in the Central Ohio area. And Brewer will set it up for Capital. 13-11 after Bailey splits a pair at the line. Brewer gives it Bosch at the top of the screen here. Bosch loses it, and it's taken away by Beamer. Beamer now stripped from behind by Brewer, and Amert, who also checked in there, is able to grab it for Capital. Kaylee Cyphers in as well. So it's Bosch, Burns, Brewer, Cyphers, and Amert for Capital. Inside to Kaylee Cyphers. Cyphers has a big size advantage on Crawford, gets the spin to go. And boy, Cyphers is a really intriguing prospect for this Capital team. She's got size on basically everybody at 6'2", and she is showing really good touch around the rim. And once she gets some more experience here, that junior year for her and senior year, of course, could be really special. And they'll heavily rely on her next year as a sophomore with the amount of depth they're losing in the front court. Here's Bosch trying to follow this up. And Bosch will not be denied, but still can't get it to go. Cyphers now kicks it out to Amert, who finds Burns for 3 at the top of the key. Emma Burns with her first shot, and she knocks it in. Capital leads by 3, 16-13. A very high-scoring first quarter. With it now is Adelsberger. Adelsberger, quick swing around to the top of the key. Ulmer, step back, gives off. Beamer, 3 ball. No good. Rebound collected by Brewer, and Brewer turns and goes. Head up, but nothing was there. And she'll slow things down and run a set now. 2.5 to play first quarter. Amert around a screen, thought about a 3. Now looks inside to Cyphers. Cyphers gets it, but has to dribble out. Bosch on the left wing. Inside Cyphers, one-hands that pass, and now goes up. No good on the shot, and rebound is collected by Crawford. Out ahead is Ulmer. Step back, 3. No good. Very nice move, but it wasn't able to go down. Adelsberger now keeps it alive, this possession. Beamer spurts inside, no good. And on the weak side, Brooke Amert gets the miss. Capital will hopefully slow things down. I don't like the pace getting too high here. Amert from the free throw line, hands off to Bosch, wide open layup. And coming over the top there is Crawford. She's going to be called for the foul. Oh, they're going to call it on 12. That's actually Adelsberger on the body there. Boy, both Adelsberger and Crawford really closed the gap. It looked like Cassie was going to walk in for an easy layup. That was not the case. Capital shooting 43% from the field early on. Heidelberg at 33%. Capital, interestingly, also with 4 assists. Heidelberg has none. Taphorn replaces Bosch. Capital goes a little bit small here with Burns, Demp, and Brewer in. And you've got Taphorn playing the 3. Amert at the 4. And Cyphers holding down the middle. Heidelberg's keeping their main core out there. Inside to Crawford. Amert helps out, and it actually tips off of Crawford. Capital will get the basketball. Adelsberger's out, and replacing her is Hannah Kilps, a junior out of Liberty Township, Ohio. Very much like a playoff type atmosphere here. Both teams, a really important game for each. Burns drives baseline, has an open shot. She's 2 for 2. And I would keep feeding Burns and try to get her to shoot as much as possible tonight, because when she's hot, she can be a very streaky shooter. Also checking in with Sadie Cheney earlier. Cheney hands off here, and Beamer with the floater. Brewer driving right side, now top of the key. Burns, they call a illegal screen there. It was called against Amert there. Taphorn yelling out strong, which confused me for a moment there. Wasn't sure if that was a defensive play call or not. Long 2, no good, and Demi Brewer gets the miss. Amazing that Ulmer, Crawford, and Beamer have all not come out of this game yet. 8 seconds left to go in the quarter. Capital trying to finish with a 3-possession lead. Brewer drives inside, tough shot blocked. Amert throws it up at the buzzer, no good. An empty possession at the end of the quarter, but Capital puts up 20 in the first, and they lead by 5. We'll be back with more basketball action after this.
They said I couldn't, so I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me, so I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words: jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation refreshes the world.
20-15, Capital leading. Watchman, Stone Rock, Bosch, Linder, and Taphorn to start things off here in quarter number 2. Heidelberg sticking with the same 5 they ended with. The big 3 of Beamer, Crawford, and Ulmer, as well as Hannah Kilps and number 34, Sadie Cheney. And Taphorn to Watchman. I sound like a broken record on that pick and roll tonight. That's another basket for Watchman. Her third already with 7 points. And Taphorn's up to 4 assists now. (22-15), top of the key now. Ulmer off to Kilps. Kilps looks inside, goes back to the top. Crawford passing off to Beamer. Now they play a little 2-man game. Beamer takes the 3, no good. Offensive rebound apparently for Cheney. She caught that rocket off the backboard. And now Capital will slow things down. Linder being guarded by Beamer, who interestingly has a black shoe on and a white shoe on. Wearing 2 different footwear there. Interesting. Taphorn on the right elbow. Screen from Watchman. Inside to Watchman. And they're going to call that a foul on Maddie Crawford. That's her first. Ulmer has 1 and Crawford has 1. Of the 15 for Heidelberg, 5 from Ulmer, 5 from Beamer, 4 from Crawford, and 1 from Bailey Walter. That's it. We're going to keep referring to them as the big 3, and they've scored 14 of the 15 for Heidelberg, excuse me. Linder calling out the play. The freshman at the top of the key passes off left wing. Tap horn inside Stone Rock. She was fouled. No call. Watchman able to catch the deflection. 3 to shoot. Tap horn throws it up, and it's no good, but had to shoot there at the end of the possession. Kilps will bring it across for the Student Princes. They run a little screen and roll. Cheney and Kilps. How about that? Of the 5 on the floor, you wouldn't expect that to be the 2-man game, but it works for Heidelberg. Depth scoring going to be a key for the Student Princes if they want to win this ball game. Bosch on the right wing. Taphorn's all alone, and she gets an easy layup from Cassidy Bosch. Taphorn was 0 for 6 on Saturday against John Carroll, so that'll feel good to get one into the basket here. She was 0 for her last 8 shooting between the last 2 games. On the left wing now, Beamer passes off. Ulmer now has it. Brittany Ulmer throws it away. Adelsberger checks in, replacing Hannah Kilps. Crawford, Maddie Crawford, that is, averages 32 minutes a game. Ulmer averages 34, and Beamer averages 36.5 minutes per game. That's an average. Watchman can't get the layup to go. Linder catches the swat. Watchman tries to clean it up, and that's a foul against Crawford. It's on Beamer. How is that on Beamer? I guess I'm blind. So Beamer will pick up her first. I thought that was about to be Crawford's second. And interestingly enough, Crawford comes off for Bailey Walter. And I wonder if Coach Harrigan saw what I saw and just doesn't want her center to pick up another one. So they'll get a quick break out of her instead. It really should have been her foul. Watchman's second free throw is good. 26-17, Capital by 9. Demi Brewer replaces Linder. Demi Brewer getting a lot of run in this one. Pass goes into Beamer, who's going to be guarded by Taphorn at the opponent's free throw line. Taphorn was able to get a few easy buckets against Marietta by playing this kind of full court ball pressure. And it prevents Heidelberg from kind of getting into a set early on. Ulmer with a good individual move here, though. Skips through the lane. No good. Stone Rock gets the miss. Capital has numbers 3 on 2. Taphorn, Brewer, layup. Good. Demi Brewer on the run out. Taphorn throws that pass from midcourt. And she already has 5 assists. Still has not had a game in her career with 10 assists. She's had 9 a few times. See if tonight's the night. On the left wing. Driving inside is Beamer. That little 10-foot jump shot, no good. And Watchman cleans up the runner. Taphorn looking to attack. Kicks out to Watchman and slows things down. 1-4 low set here from Capital. Gives off to Stone Rock. Taphorn screening. Now finds Watchman inside. Oh, that was a great set play, but Watchman couldn't finish the bucket there. Watchman now playing full court pressure defense. Heidelberg has 3 seconds to get it across. Beamer does. And now Beamer will get into the offense. Cheney calls for a screen from Walter. Now drives left side. No good. Cheney gets her own miss. She's fouled by Brewer. And the basket will count. Almert will come back in for Capital. She replaces Stone Rock here, and Emma Burns will also check in for Taphorn. 28-19. Heidelberg trying to stick around in this one. They lost their last matchup with Capital 77-60 back at home on the 22nd. No good on the free throw, so it remains a 9-point game. And Capital goes with this small look again of out there with Brewer and Burns together. Bosch playing the 3 again, and Amert at the 4. Amert, a long 2, and Brooke knocks it down. Well, she's developed real nicely here for Capital throughout her sophomore season, and I mentioned how Freshman Kaylee Cyphers will probably have a big role in the post. Well, so will Brooke. She'll probably be the starting 4 next season. And that Amert-Cyphers combination with Taphorn, Burns, and to be determined, I guess, to fill Cassidy Bosch's spot in the lineup. That's basically what you're looking at in terms of a starting lineup for Capital next season. And Jossie Kaiser, who had played kind of bits and pieces last season as a sophomore, I think will have a bigger role as well next year. Getting Watchman back, kind of carved out a spot that was taken away for her 5th year. Brewer passes off to Bosch. Brewer to Burns for 3. There it is again from Emma Burns. She's got now 8. 3 of 4 shooting, 2 of 2 from 3. And that outside game from Capital has been missing ever since that Otterbein game. They get another takeaway here. +3 in the turnover battle. Make it +2 as Capital gives it right back. 2-on-2 the other way. Adelsberger flies into the lane and somehow was able to keep enough control to get that one to go. Capital trying to keep possession here, and they're about to give it up again. Taphorn comes out. Taphorn comes in with Cyphers. Watchman and Brewer come off. Capital leads by 12, but needs to keep this pressure on here. At the top of the key. A dangerous pass thrown into no man's land by Walter. Capital takes it away again. Burns on the layup from Taphorn. Burns again connecting. Emma Burns leading the way now with 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting. That's assist number 6 already for Taphorn. Alex Carter getting ready to come on for Heidelberg as Beamer throws up a miss. That's going to go out of bounds. We've got a football score here in the end of the first quarter. I had it right the first time. End of the second quarter, first half. Capital leads by 2 touchdowns, 35-21. Burns, Taphorn, Cyphers, Amert, and Bosch to close out these final few minutes here, potentially. Cyphers out, Amert long 2, no good. Into the corner, Kaylee gets the rebound. Now hits Amert on the elbow. She drives inside and is tackled by Adelsberger. That is Adelsberger's second. Ulmer will replace Bouillon. Ulmer from the line. First free throw is good from Brooke. She is a sophomore out of Wakeman, Ohio. Knocks in both free throws, and she's up to 4 points, 3 rebounds off the bench. Has filled in admirably, did not say that right at all, admirably over the course of the season, filling in for Reagan Stonerock at times and Ellie Watchman at other times. She's started 8 games this season, has played in all 22 games for Capital. Miss here from Crawford as Emma Burns picks up the miss. Capital in complete control. Taphorn, tough layup, no good. Cyphers kicks it out, and Beamer gets the rebound. Big time numbers the other way for Heidelberg. That could have been a charge. Adelsberger misses. Carter's cleanup is good. (37-23). Burns running play 2 here. Kicks out to Bosch. Taphorn coming around screens. Now at the top of the key here, it's Amert, wide open Cyphers. And that's pretty good execution to say the least. A lot of action following Taphorn there. and then you attack the weak side by way of a pass from Amert into the post for Cyphers. Taphorn with the strip. She takes a peek behind, has no one near her, and the free layup is good. Taphorn, number 7 in steals right now at 1.6 steals per game. But right there, 0.1 behind the number 2 spot, and very well could finish this season number 1 in steals and number 1 in assists, which would be quite a combination as Carter is fouled by Cyphers. 41-23 our score. Capital with 20 in each of the first 2 quarters. Checking in now is Maddie Reese and Ellie Watchman. The leader in the conference in steals right now is Michaela Binkley with 43 from Wilmington. Caroline Taphorn has 31 in that department, but she's played in 2 less games, so that's why the steals per game, she's right there. Ellie Watchman gets a tough basket to go. Believe that's double figures for Ellie now as well. It is 11 points and 4 rebounds for Ellie Watchman. Watchman to make it 12 at the line here. That's good. I mentioned Crawford, Ulmer, and Beamer were sitting on 14 of Heidelberg's 15 points. The last 10 points have not been scored by any of those 3 for Heidelberg, and probably part of the reason they find themselves down by quite a bit here. Cassidy Bosch gets a steal now. Burns to Bosch on the left side, and that's going to be a travel. She went up and tried to stop and kind of stutter-stepped underneath the basket there to try to get around the defender. Ulmer looking for a shot. 3 balls good. And that ends that kind of drought from, again, the big 3 on the other side. Ulmer now with 8. Full stats will be coming up on our halftime show. That's the Army ROTC halftime show. As Heidelberg is fouled. Maddie Reese picks up the foul. That's her her first team's 4th, and that means the next foul on either side will mean free throws. 44.9 seconds left in the half. Beamer around a screen on the left side. Kick out. Adelsberger is fouled, gets the basket to go. And she'll try to make it a 3-point play. What if you could take a college course that not only required textbooks, but courage, determination, and a good pair of boots? Of course, that would lead directly to a career as a leader, not an intern or assistant. You ready to become a student and a leader? Enroll in Capital University Army ROTC. You could get a full tuition scholarship and graduate a leader and officer in the U.S. Army. To learn more, call 614-236-6808. That's 614-236-6808. Also available on the web at capital.edu/ROTC. Free throw was missed after the made bucket, and Capital will hold for kind of the last shot here, as there's a 4-second differential between shot and game clock. Watchman, kick out to Bosch. Bosch gets a screen from Watchman. Bounce passes over to Amert. Scoop layup, left it short. Heidelberg has time, 7 to shoot. Beamer brings it across. Ulmer from another county. No good on the shot. Carter's putback was late and won't go down anyway. And that's how the first half comes to an end. Capital with a 20-point first quarter and a 24-point second quarter build a 44-30 advantage. Full stats breakdown coming up in just a few minutes here on the Capital Army ROTC halftime show. welcome back to the Capital Center and welcome into the Capital University Army ROTC halftime show. Crusaders lead 44 to 30 at this point. And let's take a look at the OAC scoreboard. This is also brought to you by Army ROTC. Some intriguing matchups across the OAC tonight, and I mentioned the biggest one in our pregame is between the two teams at 13-1. John Carroll at Baldwin Wallace, and the current score, that game has not disappointed at all. Baldwin Wallace leading John Carroll 40-35 with 47 seconds left to play. Mount Union over Marietta right now, which would help Capital catch the number 4 spot. Mount Union leads 33-30. Wilmington and Muskingum got underway late. They're just at the end of the first quarter. Wilmington leads 14-8. And the last score, Otterbein is not doing well against the Polar Bears. Ohio Northern leading 40-25. When we come back, we will break down the first half stats and name our halftime hero here from the Capital Center. Stay with us.
It's the perfect sports bar because it's not just a sports bar.
I'm Gary Calico, founder and president of Rusty Bucket. A lot of families build their sports world around the bucket.
It's not just a guy's night out. You can bring your wife, you can bring your kids.
We get a lot of groups in after games.
Great place after the game.
Kids love to come here.
The Rusty Bucket Restaurant and Tavern.
The Rusty Bucket is a proud supporter of the Capital Crusaders. Visit us after the game at 2158 East Main Street and grab life by the bucket.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student-athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Well, let's get to some statistical breakdown now of the first half. Starting with the team stats, Capital 8 of 18 from the field in the first, and following that up with a 9 of 15 in the second. Overall, that's 17 for 33 and 51% from the field. Very efficient. 2 of 3 from 3. And after I got on them about the start at the free throw line, they haven't missed. They're now 8 of 10 from the line at 80%. Individually, Ellie Watchman leads the way with 12 points. 10 points from Emma Burns, 8 from Cassidy Bosch, 4 apiece from Taphorn, Amert, and Kaylee Cyphers, 2 points from Demi Brewer. Caroline Taphorn also has 6 assists, and she has 1 steal as well. The plus-minus leader right now for Capital is actually Kaylee Cyphers at 19, Brooke Amert with 15, Bosch and Burns each at 14. And leading rebounders, 5 for Watchman, 3 from Amert, 3 from Brewer, and 4 from Cassidy Bosch. On the other side, 31% in the first, 37% in the second overall, 34.4%, 11 for 32. They're 6 of 12 at the line, and 2 of 9 from 3 in this game. Leading scorers, 8 points from Brittany Ulmer, 5 from Brooke Beamer, and then 4 apiece from 4 players, Sadie Cheney and Alex Carter off the bench, Maddie Crawford and Ellie Adelsberger in the starting lineup. 5 rebounds as well from Bailey Walter off the bench, leading the way in that department. Overall, rebounding is pretty even, 21-20 in favor of Capital. The turnover situation is 8 for Heidelberg, 6 for Capital. Points off those turnovers, Capital leads 11-7. Points in the paint being dominated by Capital, 26-14. Second chance points actually going the way of Heidelberg, 11-8. Capital's led by as much as 19, that is. They had a largest scoring run of 9. They led by 19 with 1:24 left to play in the half. That lead has now been trimmed to 14. Capital has spent 12:55 with the lead. Heidelberg had a strong start to the game and led for the first 4:58. We've had 2 lead changes. Capital hasn't looked back since taking that last lead back from Heidelberg. 44-30, 6.5 minutes left to play, or left until we resume play here in the third quarter. And let's name tonight's halftime hero. Tonight's halftime hero brought to you by Freshies. Eat, Energize. I'm going to go with Ellie Watchman returning to the starting lineup. She was obviously missed on Saturday, and she comes out with a blistering start, 12 points and 5 rebounds in the first half. She also drew 4 fouls, had a steal, and was kind of just all over the stat sheet, 4 or 5 from the line, and just 7 minutes of play to get 12 points and 5 rebounds. That's pretty impressive, and she's been a catalyst for Capital here tonight. She is the halftime hero. Our halftime stats were brought to you tonight by Planks Cafe and Pizzeria. Revisiting the keys, I mentioned it was kind of all about Capital here in this one, and just kind of focusing on themselves, keeping that ball pressure up, and I think they've done a nice job of that to this point. They are being very efficient, and now they get to play with a comfortable lead here in the second half. Keep the foot on the gas in the third quarter, and try to coast to a victory here in the fourth would be the keys to closing this one out and getting back on the winning side and try to lock down this number 4 seed, as Marietta is currently losing to Mount Union. Either way, one of those teams is going to lose tonight. Capital's going to gain ground on one of them. Otterbein losing big right now. That'd be another good team to gain a game on, and if they beat Heidelberg here and finish this one off, Capital's going to the playoffs and likely will be somewhere between the 4 to 6 seed. And after the week they had last week, to have a chance at that number 4 seed still, that is really big. We'll see if Capital is able to catch the Pioneers over these last 4 games. But it starts with closing out this one here tonight. This was the Army ROTC halftime show. 4.5 minutes, and we'll resume basketball action here at the Capitol Center.
Capital University presents The Good Guarantee. The Good Guarantee promises families who work for nonprofits or in public service will never have to pay more than 50% tuition based on their total amount of financial aid. This includes your talent, merit, and need-based aid. You can live on campus or at home. It's renewable for up to 8 semesters, and you can study any major and minor. Current students can apply too. You qualify if you or your spouse or your parent or guardian work for a nonprofit or public service organization and you are a full-time undergrad. Because we want to create purposeful people, courageous community, and hopeful humanity. The world needs more good. The world needs you. You invest in others, we invest in you. For more information, visit capital.edu/good-guarantee.
Where will you live your purpose? Not in a refuge from the real world. The university, anchored in the center of Ohio, is at the epicenter of possibility, purpose, and the power of purple. There's no time for hesitation here. No need to put things neatly in their boxes. Just the need to nurture the role you were born for, no matter who you are. We believe that engagement is as important as education, that curiosity is as important as the classroom. And when given the chance, we do more, not less. We live, learn, and lead with purpose, just like the city that surrounds us. We're a coalition of the willing, an alliance of the ready, a union of the good. We're from Capital, and our purpose is purpose.
With 14 TVs to watch your favorite team or the next big event, Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria in German Village is ready for you and your group today. Plenty of free parking, free Wi-Fi, banquet rooms for private parties, and daily specials. What more reason do you need to visit Blank's Cafe and Pizzeria? Blank's is located at 743 Parsons Avenue and has been serving the Columbus community since 1939. Planks is on the web at plankscafe.com or available by phone at 614-443-6251. Planks Cafe and Pizzeria is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better. Army ROTC is one of the best leadership courses in the country and can be a part of your college curriculum. As a potential or current student at Capital University, learning to become a leader will make your college experience even richer and prepare you for the future. Capital Army ROTC can provide scholarships and many more benefits to those who enroll, but the biggest benefit will be experienced firsthand after joining. For more information on Capital Army ROTC, testimonials, and an in-depth look at what the program can offer you, go to www.capital.edu/ROTC.
Welcome back to the Capitol Center. A few seconds running off the clock, and we'll resume play here from Bexley, Ohio. I'm Jimmy Bloomfield, and Capitol comfortably ahead right now and just trying to keep the momentum moving here. 44-30, they lead. It'll be Burns, Taphorn, Watchman, Stone Rock, and Bosch to start things off. And the starting five of Bouillon, Adelsberger, Beamer, Crawford, and Ulmer on the other side. Outside shot from Burns, no good. Reagan Stone Rock with a putback, also no good. And Crawford gets the rebound, and then she dribbles it out of bounds. No, actually, they called a foul for an elbow. Crawford kind of extended her right arm up into the air there to give herself some space. Thought she might have dribbled out of bounds, but they call it as a foul drawn by Cassidy Bosch. Taphorn inserts to Watchman. Layup no good. And that's going to be a foul against Ellie this time, coming over the top of Crawford. That's Watchman's first. She only played 7 minutes in the first quarter, but that was plenty, or in the first half, but that was plenty to get going. As she had 12 points and 7 rebounds in those 7 minutes. Ellie on her way to a double-double for sure in this one. Basket here on the other side from Beamer is good. 44-32. Heidelberg with a strong first minute here. And it's out of bounds, but it'll stay with Capital here as Beamer tried to take it away from Burns. Obviously both teams have switched sides here. Goes into Emma Burns. Burns had a strong first half as well. Has been shooting pretty good in this one. 2 for 3 from 3, 4 for 6 from the field. Thrown off the leg of Adelsberger. Capital has just 9 seconds to work with now on the shot clock. Taphorn passes in. Stone Rock. Bosch thought about the three. Burns instead left open. No good on the three. Crawford gets the rebound. Now driving in is Bouillon. She loses the basketball. Out of bounds. Off her hip. And Capital still looking for their first points here in the quarter. But still ahead by 12. We'll get the basketball back. Left wing. Taphorn inside. Watchman. That's pick and roll has been beautiful. Now an interior pass from Watchman out to Burns. Miss on the three. Stone Rock taps it out to Taphorn and now goes back inside. Watchman cleans it up on the weak side. A dominant possession there for the Crusaders. Pass down low now from Beamer to Adelsberger, who's had a good start here in the first few minutes of the third quarter. We've been saying Adelsberger's name quite a bit. Heidelberg remains within 12, and a desperate half of basketball about to be coming here from the Student Princes, trying to cling to their slim playoff hopes. They're only a game out of the playoffs, but with a win over Capital, would only be one game back of the Crusaders and could really do some damage on these on the 6 and 8 teams, the group of 3 ahead of them. If they lose this game, they fall 3 games back with a tiebreaker loss to Capital, so they wouldn't be able to catch Capital, and they don't have a tiebreaker against a lot of those 6 and 8 teams. They do play a few of them still in their last 3 games. Foul here called against Capital. That's on Stone Rock. Adelsberger goes back to the line. Mentioned her name just a moment ago, and Adelsberger, a good free throw shooter as well. She makes the first, over 70% on the season in a sample of 39 free throws. Take what you will from that. (46-36). Watchman on the other end, no good. Stone Rock gets the rebound. Bosch on the left wing. Taphorn. Burns is coming around. Instead, Watchman screens for Taphorn. Her layup's no good, and the rebound goes to Adelsberger. She's running coast to coast. Off to Bouillon, tipped out by Heidelberg. And it's kind of grown eerily quiet here at the Capitol Center. 6:40 to go in the third quarter of play. Emma Burns will bring it across. And just 2 points so far from Capital this quarter. Trying to get something to get the fans back into this. Taphorn inside. Watchman. That'll work. That has been the combination here tonight. Watchman from Taphorn. Taphorn now with 7 assists. Watchman now with 16 points and 6 rebounds. 3 ball on this end from Adelsberger, no good. Taphorn gets the miss. Caroline pushing it up to Burns. That was tipped. Burns didn't touch it on purpose. And obviously was tipped because as soon as that ball came near her, she moved her hands up in the air to try to avoid hitting the basketball, so she clearly saw it was tipped. Bouillon comes out, and replacing her is Cheney. Taphorn to Bosch. Guarded by Adelsberger. Tried to kick that ball away from Watchman on the entry pass. Taphorn to Watchman. Watchman to Stone Rock. Beautiful cut on the weak side, and Reagan Stone Rock scoops it in. 50-36. Beamer around a screen. Around another. On the left wing, one-on-one with Taphorn, kicks out, 3 ball, no good. Ulmer throws up the miss. And Capital will slow things back down. And Taphorn actually just goes right to the basket with it, and she draws contact and the foul. Taphorn really upset about some contact. Looked like she got hit in the face. I don't know exactly what more she wanted than the foul being called there. Crawford comes out. Alex Carter comes in. And Capital with the chance to just put the foot on the gas here and take advantage of Crawford, who's had a quiet game coming out of this one. Watchman to Stone Rock. Stone Rock on the right elbow. A foul called against Carter. That is the 3rd foul in the quarter for Heidelberg. Capital's had 4 fouls, so we're getting close to the bonus situation on both sides. Taphorn to Bosch in the corner, who just kind of popped out and no one guarded her. And Taphorn finds her. That's 8 assists now for Caroline. Tapor now with a steal and the lay-in. She has stolen a few buckets in the last few games by just doing simply that. Timeout called. 55-36, Capital leads by 19. We'll be back.
Vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Dill's Greenhouse is a local family business dedicated to offering the best shopping experience and honest prices for your gardening needs. If you're in need of annuals, perennials, vegetable plants, or any variety of gardening tools and resources, Dill's Greenhouse is more than happy to get you on the right path. Dill's Greenhouse is located at 5800 Rager Road in Groveport, Ohio, and is open 7 days a week. Visit them online for more information at dillsgreenhouse.net. Dill's Greenhouse. Only nature does it better.
.457 to play, third quarter. Capital with their largest lead of 19. 55-36. On this end, the basket put back by Carter, no good. And now a foul is called against, I believe, Cheney. Yeah, it's actually on Carter for going over the top. Really could have called it on either one of them. Taphorn comes out now for senior Sam Seck. Taphorn needs just a couple of assists now to get into double figures for the first time. And I've never seen someone at Capital here in the 5 years I've been doing this get a double-digit number of assists, if my memory recalls correctly there. 55-36. It would definitely be a career high for Caroline. Almert, no good on the three. And well, that looked like a carry from Adelsberger. She crosses the line. Seck trying to take it away. Kick out to the top of the key. A little two-man game between Beamer and Cheney. Beamer to Adelsberger. Inside, looking there. Nothing there. Has to go to Carter. Carter well away from the basket. Screens for Beamer. Being hugged by Bosch defensively. Beamer, step back three. No space, and she just kind of blindly threw that up. Good defense from Cassidy. Burns out ahead. Seck in the paint. Basket's good. Sam Seck from Burns. Capital leads by 21. Might not get to see Taphorn come back in this one, which would be a shame that she can't get her 10. Sam Seck now takes the ball away. Another steal. Omert finding Stone Rock. Beautiful transition bucket. Capital leads by 23, 59-36. Beamer has to reset with Ulmer here. Ulmer drives to the free throw line. Her basket, no good. Carter tipped it. Stone Rock grabs it. And now a kick ball against Heidelberg. Heidelberg will bring in 5 new players. Kilps among them. Amy Hafer as well. Crawford back in. Bouillon back in. I also missed 32 Kristen Kochel in for the first time. Kochel in for the first time. She's a senior out of Attica, Ohio. So 5 fresh bodies out there for Heidelberg. Capital makes no changes. They do have some subs waiting to come on, though. Bosch to Burns at the top of the key, or top of your screen, I should say, on the left corner. Seck brings it around to the right side, throws it to Almert, who finds Burns, who finds the bucket for 3. 62-36. Emma Burns with another three-pointer. That's her third, and she is 13. Stone Rock picks up this miss now. And that ball goes out of bounds off Capital. Bosch was in the area. Demi Brewer, Kaylee Cyphers in for Bosch and Stone Rock. Capital in complete control here in the third quarter. After a slow start offensively, they now lead 15-6 here in this quarter alone. Kilps into the paint. She gets some contact from Brewer. Foul is called and 2 free throws coming. Capital, I mentioned earlier, defeated Heidelberg earlier this season 77-60. So they have now outscored Heidelberg 139-97 this season in 3 quarters of play with another 2 minutes left to go here in this quarter. Another free throw is good from Kilps. 62-38. Heidelberg, if they want to come back, will need to go on a huge run here very quickly. Takeaway here from Bouillon. She feeds Crawford. Crawford called for the charge. Not what you're looking for there. Taking a look at the scoreboard in the OAC, I'm not sure if we're having a delay or something in Wilmington. I figured they got going late between Wilmington and Muskingum, but actually we're still stuck at that same 14-8 score with 1:30 there. So likely just a stats issue, but we'll try to keep you updated with the score there. Ohio Northern leads Otterbein 51-40. Marietta still trailing at home to Mount Union 48-43. It's a great result for Capital if that holds. And then the last score, John Carroll currently leading Baldwin Wallace 54-52. Winner of that game will likely be the regular season champ in the OAC. In the left corner, Amy Hafer. They work it around now to Bouillon, who hasn't really got it going at all in this one due to some foul trouble. 3-ball miss from Crawford. You don't see that often. Maddie Crawford has taken just 5 threes entering today. She goes for one there, and it's no good. Demi Brewer now, top of the key, bounce pass to Omer. And she fakes a few passes, puts the head down towards the basket, gets fouled by Kristen Kochel. That is in the bonus, so Amert will get 2 free throws. First one from Omert is good. Omert's second is also good. 64-38, Omert with now 6 points. Emma Burns checks back in. Actually checks out, excuse me. Linder checks in. Sam Seck still out there guarding the point guard as Kilps brings it across. Kilps, bounce pass, dangerous bounce pass as Omert was there to deny it from Coach. Hafer again has it. She throws it away. 64-38 Capital still out in front. Heidelberg scored 15 in each of the first 2 quarters, and they've cut that in half now at 8 here in the third quarter. Capitals hit the 20 mark in each quarter. Brewer. An illegal screen is called against Sam Seck under the basket. Linder was wide open, and probably because of that screen, to free her. Inbounded from underneath the Heidelberg basket. A little bit of full court pressure here from Capital. They relax off now with 17 to play in the quarter. Heidelberg can hold for the last shot, but would likely be wise to just try to push the needle here and try to get a steal after a quick bucket or something to get some momentum going into the third, or into the fourth from the third. 2 free throws coming due to the bonus here. Maddie Crawford to the line. Crawford an 85% free throw shooter. Not bad for a post player. And it's been a quiet night for Maddie Crawford. She has just 5 points now to go with 5 rebounds, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 assist, and 3 fouls. Certainly not the night that she was looking for. She makes the second. And Crawford will now check off for Cheney to avoid picking up a foul here in the last few seconds. 10 seconds left for Capital. Let's see if we can get a buzzer beater here. Brewer gets the screen from Omert. Behind the back pass, Omert catches it. 2 to shoot. Brewer in traffic, almost banked it in. And Omert goes flying in for that rebound and then hits her head on the deck. And in a 24-point game, Omert comes flying in. The buzzer had already sounded, and an aggressive play, to say the least, to try to put that thing back. And Omert now has put herself in kind of a scary situation here now, as the trainers are going to have to check her out. She appears to be okay. Capital starting 5 will get ready to come back in here. We'll cut to a timeout. Brooke appears to be okay and back on her feet, fortunately, here for Capital. We'll be right back. Capital leads 64-40.
OSU Sports Medicine is a proud supporter of Crusader student athletes by providing sports health services for Capital University athletics and student health services. Through the work and care of team physicians and athletic trainers, it's the team behind your team. For all fans, if you're looking to improve your physical performance, recover from an injury, or stay active for a lifetime, the experts at Ohio State Sports Medicine are there for you. Visit sportsmedicine.osu.edu or call 366-4332.
Welcome back to the Capital Center. We have a 24-point lead for Capital. The starters will come back in and probably only get a few minutes here. The story statistically is Caroline Taphorn at 8 assists, trying to get to 10 here, which you don't see very often at the D3 level. See if she's able to get that shot. Taphorn looks inside, kicks out Burns. Burns loaded for 3, then dribbled to a spot on the floor, didn't get it to go. Offensive rebound from Ellie. Bosch to Taphorn. Caroline around the screen, back to Watchman. Watchman layup, no good. And Watchman could have a few more baskets here that would have given some assists to Taphorn. She's missed a few layups. Crawford on the putback here, no good. She misses 2 shots that sequence. Capital will use the clock as an ally here down the stretch, as they should. Leading by 24 with 9:10 to play. Bosch comes through a few screens. Stone Rock leaks out to the top. Burns is open on the weak side. Gets a mismatch with Cheney. And Stone Rock being guarded by Adelsberger right now. The defensive matchups all over the place for Heidelberg through all those switches on the screens. And Bosch drives past Crawford and gets the basket to go. Now driving to the left corner, a 3 from Adelsberger misses everything on the air ball. Watchman gets the rebound. (66-40) is the score right now. Bosch to Stone Rock. Fakes a pass to Taphorn, comes back to this side. Inside now, Watchman turns over the left side. Left hook, good. And Watchman has 18 now for Capital, leading all scorers. Heidelberg doesn't have anyone in double figures yet. Capital has 3 on the left wing. 8 minutes to play. Beamer drives left side. Cheney to Crawford. Crawford along 2, no good. And that'll be an easy rebound for Bosch, uncontested. Taphorn drives in, feeds Stone Rock, who waits and then is fouled. 68-40. 2 free throws coming from Stone Rock here. Kaiser will be replacing Watchman. Burns comes off for Sam Seck. Only upperclassmen out there for Capital with this lineup of Kaiser, Stone Rock, Bosch, Seck, and Taphorn. It's a fun little group. We've never really seen these guys together. Stone Rock misses the first. She does get the second to go. Capital leads by 29. Beamer across the timeline. Hands off to Ulmer, gets Bosch to leave her feet, and then settles for a step back. No good. Hit the hand of Sek, and then was traveled by Adelsberger. They'll bring in a whole new group as well on the other side. Try to get all these players here. Kamaya Sandage gets the first action tonight. Kilp's back in with Carter. Leah Bouillon in with this group. And Alyssa Martin, the last. 2 6'3" players in the game for Heidelberg. Bosch inside Stone Rock. Kaiser out to Taphorn. Walks into a 2, knocks it down. Hannah Kilps now brings it across, 71-40. Capital in complete control. Demi Brewer will replace Caroline Taphorn now. For some reason we have a conversation here between two of the officials. And Capital will call a full timeout as well to talk this over. 71-40, 6:47 to play, and we'll be right back in 60.
I wanted to fly. They said I couldn't. So I built a plane, then a spaceship, then I went to the moon. I invented jazz, hip-hop, rock and roll. Some called it noise. I said it was music. I wrote a letter and sent it by ponies. It didn't get to you fast enough, so I used trucks and ships. But still, they weren't fast enough for me. So I lost the paper and the ink. I sent it by magic. I called it email. I made up new words, jukebox, bling, Google. And I decided some old words weren't okay to say ever again. The mustache. I tried to bring that back 17 times. I wore knickerbockers and shoulder pads, poodle skirts and flannel. When I came back from World War II, all I had was a t-shirt. So I made that cool. In fact, I invented cool. Who am I? I'm the spirit of youth. It's my job to move the world forward. Pepsi. Every generation.
And welcome back to the Capital Center. Capital has 6:47 left to play. And on their way to their 7th victory in conference play. One they desperately need here if they want to be playing here at the Capital Center in the first round of the playoffs. Inbound pass is stolen by Capital. Sick. Going straight to the bucket with it. No good. Addie Becker fresh in. We'll reset the floor here in just a second. She gets a tip on that rebound, but it goes the other way. Driving inside here is Sandage. She loses it, but stays with Heidelberg. Capital has Sam Sek, Allison Roach, Demi Brewer, Addie Becker, and Jossie Kaiser in there. And the same 5 from Heidelberg. That group of 5 would be Sandage, Kilps, Carter, Martin, and Bouillon. So we'll see what Capital's bench unit can do here. Up by 31. Kaiser has shown some range off the bench here in her last few games. Kaiser gets the layup to, or Kaiser gets the tip on that rebound, but it did not go down. Now she's trying to take it away from Carter. Sandage brings it across. Bouillon for the long 2, and she teardrops it in. 71-42, Capital comfortably in front in this one. Addie Becker's fouled. Taking a look at the OAC scoreboard here just to see where some other teams are falling as we enter the late minutes of this one.
Heidelberg subs. Number 5, Liz Vincent. And 23, Tylese Nolan.
Heidelberg needs some help from Muskingum here tonight to see if they're going to beat Wilmington. That game is still at 14-8 due to the statistics that I can see here from the OAC website. Baldwin Wallace and John Carroll as Becker gets the steal. She'll go to the free throw line. Baldwin Wallace still leads 66-64, but that could go either way here in the final 6 minutes. Ohio Northern also leading Otterbein right now 59-50. That has 6 minutes to go. And at the end of the third quarter, Marietta has gotten the lead back on Mount Union. Bad news there for Capital, but good news to keep that 5 seed. So there are 3 games that we have scores for. Still very much up in the air. If Capital splits as well in the season series, the tiebreakers are very interesting. It pretty much comes down to who you beat, and it starts at the top. Not a lot of teams have beaten Baldwin Wallace or John Carroll this season, but Capital has gone 1-1 against Ohio Northern, a team that not a lot of teams have gone 1-1 against, and that'll help Capital in a tiebreaker scenario. The issue is they've lost both games against Marietta, would lose that tiebreaker, and could potentially lose a tiebreaker to Mount Union if they lose that last game of the season. And Capital still has to play Baldwin Wallace. That'll be here Saturday for Senior Day. Kilps checks out. Liz Vincent checks in. She's out of Oregon, Ohio. Addie Becker, top of the key. Drives left side. Becker blocked. And Gabby Ledbetter has checked in as well for Capital. She is involved in the tie-up there. Another good game where Capital can likely get all 18 players into the ball game. Nancy Siegel and Natalie Galadia look like they'll be next as they make their way to the scorer's table, as does Erica Linder. 3 freshman backcourt players. Vincent pass inside, back outside now. That's Cameron Cremonese, a freshman out of Mentor, Ohio. On the other side, number 23, Roach with a layup, tough angle. She was way under the basket on the pass from Brewer, but it turns into a good basket nonetheless. Capital by 32. Sandage. A pass to the post, shot over the backboard there by Carter. Now Ledbetter getting in on the action. She gets the basket to go. And the freshman Ledbetter will go to the line. Ledbetter and Becker will stay in with the 3 freshman backcourt players. Allison Roach gets a basket to go in her few minutes out there on the floor. And we'll see if Siegel and Galadia can get something going offensively themselves. Those two have been really fun to watch. They have insane range. Natalie Galadia stands on the C of the Capital logo that you can see in the background here in pregame and goes 5 for 5, just knocking them down. She has unlimited range from outside, and it's a joy to watch. Hopefully we get to see her rip from outside a little bit here. On the season, in game, Galadia is 4 for 23, but again, the talent is there. There's no doubt about that. Kaiser is going to be replacing Becker here. Becker goes off. 77-42 is our current score. Capital has a chance to double up Heidelberg. This young unit from Heidelberg hasn't done much at all. Kaiser takes it away. Jossie blows by to the basket. Layup's good. And another Crusader scores in this one in the form of Jossie Kaiser. 79-42. Brought across the timeline now by Heidelberg. Hafer has it. Inside now. Vincent back to Hafer for three, and Amy Hafer knocks it down. So sophomore out of LaRue, Ohio. 2 minutes left to play. Galadia at the top of the screen, coming around some screens. Siegel gets the pass. Siegel almost throws it away. Has Galadia now. Galadia thought about the three, and good defense. Now finds an open Kaiser, who scoops it in. Really good defense by Bailey Walter, who stepped out there on Galadia. Really wanted to shoot. The bench was standing, waiting for her to pull the trigger from outside. Big contact here between Ledbetter and Sandage. The foul is actually going to go against Siegel, who kind of had some contact there to, let's say, help Sandage find Ledbetter there. Sandage's first free throw is good. Sandage's next free throw, no good. Kaiser hits it off the backboard to keep it alive, and Heidelberg gets the rebound. From the free throw line, that basket missed by Raina Roan. Three ball from Kaiser, no good. Maybe a little aggressive there. Ledbetter gets basically tackled as Walter goes underneath the leg of Ledbetter, who's walking it off and laughing it off. Essentially tackled there. Linder into Siegel. Kaiser goes inside Ledbetter. Ledbetter is fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line due to the bonus. Ledbetter misses the first. Gabby has made a basket in this one. Another lengthy post player for Coach Jeffers to have some fun with here the next few years. 6'3" out of New London High School, New London, Ohio. Kaiser gets a takeaway here. Linder to Kaiser inside Ledbetter. Ledbetter off the glass, no good. Rebound Walter. And we'll have one last possession here from the Berg. A reminder, coming up next is the Byers Airport Subaru post-game show. We'll have the final statistical breakdown from this game. We'll take another look at the OAC scoreboard, and we will have our player of the game interview as well here from the Capitol Center. 15 seconds until we get started here with our post-game coverage. 82-45 will be the final score here from the Capitol Center. Heidelberg moves to 4-11 in conference play. Capital picks up a big win to move to 7-8 and stay competitive for that number 4 spot in the conference. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, our post-game show.
Vehicles, reliable pre-owned vehicles, top-notch, high-quality service technicians, and friendly, trustworthy sales associates dedicated to customer service. Byers Airport Subaru in Columbus is ready to get you into the vehicle that you were meant for. Stop by to see our selection at 401 North Hamilton Road in Columbus and take a test drive, or call Byers Airport Subaru at 877-265-9695 today. Byers Airport Subaru is a proud supporter of Crusader Athletics. Subaru, confidence in motion.
Capital claps it up at the center logo here, celebrating a 82-45 victory here at the Capital Center. Capital gets back onto the winning side in the building here tonight. And we will be joined by today's player of the game here shortly, so stay with us for that. In the meantime, we can get to some statistics in this one. Sorry, the music here in the arena just got very loud. Capital had 3 players finish in double figures. Ellie Watchman with 18 points and 8 rebounds. 13 points for Cassidy Bosch, 13 points for Emma Burns. Caroline Taphorn finished with 8 points and 8 assists. Brooke Olmert was all over the scoreboard tonight. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Reagan Stonerock had 5 points and 9 rebounds. Demi Brewer off the bench, 2 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds as well, just to kind of throw some love to the bench out there. We've got a lot of players involved in the scoring in this game. All 18 players on the roster got to play in this one, and all but 4 of them scored, so 14 different players getting on the scoreboard tonight. That's always good to see. Capital finished with 47.8% shooting from the field. Heidelberg shot just 26.3%, and for all the hype of 3 of the top 6 scorers in the conference coming into the building here tonight, no one finishes in double figures for Heidelberg. Maddie Crawford had just 4 points. Brittany Ulmer had 8. And Brooke Beamer, 2 of 12 from the field, had 5 points. They combined for a total of 17 points. They also didn't score in the second half at all. No points. They had 14 of Heidelberg's first 15 points, and then they had just 4 more points after that. If my math was right there, they had 14, and they finished with 17. So they had just 3 more points the rest of the game after scoring 14 of the first 15 points. That's a pretty astounding statistic there, and why Capital was able to win this game with pretty easy in terms of just looking at the stats from the line score. Capital went 20, 24, 20, 18. Heidelberg went 15, 15, 10, and 5 across from first to fourth quarter. Ellie Watchman's making her way up here for our post-game interview. This is brought to you by Freshies. She is our player of the game, and she is walking into the booth here right now. Ellie had a strong game tonight with 18 points and 8 rebounds to lead Capital. And welcome up here, Ellie, and thank you for joining us. Ellie, I wanted to first talk about, you not able to play against John Carroll, getting back out there, and obviously it's just kind of a different impact with you out there, and we saw that here tonight. You and Caroline seem to be on the page there with the pick and roll tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. She's an incredible passer. She sees the floor better than, anybody I've ever played with, so it's fun to play out there with her. What
was the morale going into this game? I know you guys had kind of a tough week last week, coming off of a really emotional win against Otterbein, and was played so good before those 2 games, and then to kind of go back down on the losing side. Where was everybody's kind of head at? And obviously you guys responded with a good game here today.
Absolutely, yeah. We called the team together on Sunday, and we just knew that we were better than what we performed on Saturday. So the seniors gathered everybody together, asked everyone to just regroup, and make sure that we are here first, we are putting our everything in, and that we represent ourselves the way that we know that we can. And then we came after it for 2 hard days of practice, and then knew that today we are changing.
You certainly made a statement, and defensively, just wanted to point this out. I know there's probably a lot of game planning around Crawford, Beamer, and Ulmer, their big three. They scored 14 of the first 15 points for Heidelberg. After that, they scored 3 points in the entire game. They didn't score in the second half, none of them. So that shows.
I did not even realize that.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure. And I was looking at the numbers here and just saw them sitting at the same points around in the first quarter. And I think that speaks a lot to you guys on that game plan from Coach Jeffers, really focusing on taking those 3 out of it. And obviously, you guys did just that. So good job on the defensive end. We move forward now. Senior day will probably be pretty emotional for you and the rest of the teammates here. And a really good opponent in the building on Saturday as well. So kind of what's the breakdown on what we should be looking for Saturday. And, you know, I want to also have you reflect a little bit on Senior Day coming up, obviously with some injuries over your career here, come back for your 5th year, kind of what it means to you coming back for your last home game potentially here on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, Baldwin Wallace is an incredible team. We know that we're in for a tough battle, but we also know that our record does not convey our skill level. Our record in the OAC is not what we wanted it to be this season, and I know that if we all come out to play and we come to play together, we can give them a fight, and I believe that truly that we can pull it out. And then in terms of my personal reflection, I was honestly reflecting on it earlier, and it might just be, you know, the biggest victory of all is making it through and being able to wear the capital letters. This entire season has been the sweetest dream, better than anything I could have ever asked for. But being able to stand there alongside my 4 other fellow seniors and know that we made it through the journey, that we gave everything that we possibly could. You know, this is something we've all dreamed of since we were little girls. Being able to say that we made it to the other side, we gave it our all, that's just a moment that I know we're going to cherish forever.
Absolutely. A good way to end our interview, I think, there as well, Ellie. So congratulations with everything here over your career, and it's been a pleasure to talk to you here, and hopefully go out on a win here on at the Capitol Center, at least on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Ellie. And that was our player of the game, Ellie Watchman. She, again, had 18 points in this one. Actually, 18 points and 8 rebounds. So a strong effort from Ellie in just 14 and a half minutes on the floor as well. Was very efficient here tonight. Capital winners in this one. They come off with a final score of 82-45. We teased it a little bit there at the end of the interview. Senior Day will be on Saturday as 5 seniors will celebrate their careers here and potentially their last home game at the Capitol Center. Cassidy Bosch, Reagan Stonerock, Stam Sek, Addie Becker, and Ellie Watchman, who was just joining us there. And a chance that we could have an all-starting 5 of seniors if Becker gets the nod with Sek just for one special moment there for the 5 seniors. We'll see if that is indeed the case. More importantly, Capital gets a big win. They move to 7-8, and we will see on Saturday if they can give Baldwin Wallace a shot of trying to just kind of make that message known that they are coming to play here for the OAC tournament. Capital is all but locked in and has a really good shot of being in the top, 5 or 6 teams where things stand right now, and still have an outside shot at getting that number 4 spot and a final home game as well as part of the OAC tournament. This was the Byers Airport Subaru post-game show. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll catch you on Saturday. And a reminder, 2 more road games for the women's team after Saturday, but we'll still have 2 more home broadcasts for the men's basketball team, and hopefully some playoff action here at the Capitol Center here in 2020. We'll be back on the air on Saturday against Baldwin Wallace for Senior Day. We hope you join us, and have a great night.